On February 7, 1977, at approximately 11:20 p.m., the Colorado police received a call for service of a possible suicide. Upon arrival, officers found a 14-year-old female deceased with multiple stab wounds to the chest and neck area. The victim, who was wearing a blue jumpsuit, later identified as 14-year-old Maria Loraine Honzell. The investigation revealed that Ms. Honzell was babysitting for a female neighbor who lived in the same apartment complex. The neighbor returned home and found Ms. Honzell on the floor of the master bedroom, deceased. The neighbor's children, aged 6 and 8, were sleeping in bed and were not harmed. One of the boys told police he had gone to sleep at around 8 p.m., but was awoken sometime later by commotion inside the apartment. He told investigators he saw a teenage boy in an apparent struggle with Honzell, holding her mouth shut. The boy said he heard yelling before the two went back to their bedroom. He described the suspect as being approximately 17 years old, 6 feet tall with acne, and wearing a fluffy coat and jeans. The El Paso County Coroner's Office conducted an autopsy of Maria Honzell and reported that she sustained multiple stab wounds to the chest and one prominent stab wound to the neck area. Her death was ruled as a homicide. Despite a thorough investigation, which included numerous interviews, reports, and collection of evidence, the Colorado Springs Police Department could not identify a person of interest. Aside from the boy's witness statement, there was no further lead, and ultimately the case went cold. Few years later, as advancements in DNA technology progressed, several items of evidence were submitted to the Colorado Bureau of Investigation for further scientific analysis. A male DNA profile was developed from a bloodstain on Maria Honzell's clothing, but no match was found for the DNA despite obtaining and submitting samples from various potential suspects, as well as the Combined DNA Index System, CODIS. However, CSPD did not give up and reopened the case in 2019. They submitted the blood on the blue jumpsuit for genetic genealogy research through Parabon, and a person of interest was identified as William Charles Kernan, Jr., who also went by Bill. But Bill died in 2010. Confirmation DNA was unable to be collected as the suspect was cremated and had no living biological relatives. Further investigation revealed that at the time of the incident, Kernan had been a student at a local college and had known the woman for whom Maria was babysitting on the night she was murdered. Investigators also said that Kernan had been to the apartment complex on prior occasions. After reviewing the case, 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office is confident the person responsible for the murder of Maria Honzell is William C. Kernan, Jr. The investigation into the murder of Maria Honzell was closed out as exceptionally cleared or death of offender. The family and friends of Maria Honzell have waited over 47 years to get justice for Maria. Her brother Honzell Pearson said she was robbed. We were all left with the wound that is still incredibly wide open. There has been no closure, there is no closure. He thanked the Colorado Springs Police Department for their effort over years of investigation and analysis, and for being able to give the family the answer they were waiting for 47 years. On December 4, 1975, 20-year-old Teree Becker was reportedly hitchhiking to see her boyfriend at the Adams County Jail in Brighton, Colorado. 2 days later, a couple found her body and personal items in a field. An autopsy revealed she had been raped and the cause of death was asphyxiation. Despite years-long investigation, Becker's killer was never found. As the years went on, her case was reviewed several times, without any breakthrough. In 2003, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation was able to extract the DNA of an unknown male from a piece of evidence that had been collected in connection with Becker's rape. The unknown male profile generated was entered into the CODIS database, but no match was determined. And no further substantial leads were developed until 2013, when an unknown DNA profile submitted by Las Vegas Metro Police Department matched to the unknown DNA profile of Teree Becker homicide through the CODIS system. Las Vegas Metro Police Department was reviewing a 1991 cold case involving a female who had been found raped and murdered in her apartment. The DNA revealed the same man had killed both Teree Becker and the woman in Las Vegas. But the police still didn't have a suspect in either case. But after 5 years, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, in partnership with 2 other companies specialized in genetic genealogy, finally identified the suspect, Thomas Martin Elliott. In October, Las Vegas police had the body of Thomas Martin Elliott exhumed on the probability he was the suspect in both killings. A Westminster police detective witnessed the exhumation, and the bones were sent for analysis. In December 2023, Thomas Martin Elliott was identified to the unknown male DNA in both the Westminster and Las Vegas homicides. Nearly half a century after the murder, the Teree Becker cold case had finally been solved. Later investigation revealed Elliott had been in and out of prison over the years for various offenses, including doing time for burglary and committing a crime against a child. He died by suicide in 1991 for unknown reasons, soon after the Las Vegas homicide. It was closure that David Becker, Teree Becker's brother and only surviving family member, said he never thought he would get. In a press conference he said, "I can't say enough how grateful I am. I just really applaud the Westminster Police Department." Westminster Police said they hope finally finding Becker's killer brings closure to her family and friends. Hiram Ross Grayam was a decorated World War II veteran who received a Purple Heart. He fought at the Battle of the Bulge and took part in the liberation of 2 concentration camps. After serving in the war in Europe, he settled in Indian River County and became a milkman. In April 11, 1968, he went off on his regular delivery route but failed to return home. A girl was the last person to see him. She reported running toward Grayam's milk truck and saw 2 gunmen with him. Grayam was talking to the 2 men and said that he would be back shortly. The 2 men and Grayam all left in the milk truck. Police launched search by ground and air. Hours later, Grayam's body was discovered deep in the woods by airplane. He was laying next to the milk truck with multiple bullet wounds. Indian River County Sheriff Eric Flowers described that he was killed execution style. A police description of the case said that an early 50s model Chevrolet, occupied by 2 unknown males, was seen leaving the area at a high speed just minutes after gunshots were heard. The 2 men were considered prime suspects in Grayam's murder, but they were nowhere to be found and the case went cold. In 2006, the case was reopened and for the first time police got information about a person named Thomas Williams being potentially involved in this. But Williams denied any involvement in the murder of Mr. Grayam, since police didn't have any evidence against Williams. The case went cold again, and Williams died in 2016. However, once Williams had died, his ex-wife and a friend of his sister, neither of whom knew each other, came forward and told investigators that Williams had previously confessed to them that he had robbed Mr. Grayam $68 and killed him. Both witnesses said they considered Williams to be a threat to them and their families while he was alive. This is the oldest cold case ever solved in Indian River County Sheriff's Office history. The victim's son, Larry Grayam, who was 16 at the time of the incident, talked about his father's generosity during a press conference. Quote, "My father was well known in the community. Many of the citizens liked him because if they didn't have enough money to pay their milk bill, he would dip into his pocket to pay for them." Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to our channel. If you have any thoughts, theories, or cases you'd like us to cover, let us know in the comments. Until next time, stay safe.